The Samsung Galaxy S8 set the standard for smartphones earlier this year, with a Talon narrow build, top-of-the-line specs, and featuring software. But its largely glass and metal build makes it relatively fragile, and requires you to take some care when handling it. The Samsung Galaxy S8 Active $849.99 on at&t is for people who don't want to baby their phones. It's essentially the same device as the standard S8, wrapped in a durable polycarbonate shell that gives it much greater protection against bumps, drops, and scrapes. It also has a bigger battery. That makes it the best rugged phone money can buy and our editor's choice. Design, durability, and display. The S8 Active is built like a tank. The back of the phone consists of a hardened grey or gold polycarbonate shell. Along the sides, there is metal, reinforced by hard rubber ridges on each corner for better impact resistance. This shell wraps around the sides of the phone, doing away with the curves that make the S8 so attractive but also so fragile. View all 5 photos in gallery. I subjected the S8 Active to a series of torture tests, including 6-foot drops to wood, tile, and concrete floors. It survived without any visible damage. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that while the screen may be more durable due to the reinforced sides on a shatterproof layer not found on the regular S8, it's still susceptible to being scratched. Like the S8, the Active is rated IP68, so it can survive in 6 feet of water for at least 30 minutes. It worked fine after a thorough rinsing and handled immersion without a problem. Just make sure you don't try to charge it until the port is dry. Of course, this increased durability comes at the cost of added size and bulk. The S8 Active measures 6.0 by 3.0 by 0.4 inches HWD and weighs a hefty 7.3 ounces, a notable increase from the regular S8 5.8 by 2.7 by 0.3 inches, 5.5 ounces. It's also heavier than the S8 6.1 ounces and the Note 8 6.9 ounces. But compared with other rugged phones like the Kyocera GeForce Pro 5.8 by 2.9 by 0.5 inches, 8.1 ounces, it's about average. Along the sides, you have all the same buttons and ports as the S8. A power button is on the right and a volume rocker on the left, with a Bixby button below it replacing the customizable Active button on previous Active models. The bottom has a 3.5mm headphone jack, USB-C charging port, and speaker. The SIM microSD slot is located at the top and worked fine with a 256GB card. The fingerprint sensor on the back is still set to the right of the camera, making it too easy to accidentally smudge the lens. On the front you'll find a Talon narrow 5.8-inch 2560 by 1440 Super AMOLED display. Because it doesn't wrap around the sides, it's technically not an infinity screen, but is otherwise very similar to the panel in the regular S8. Its resolution is a sharp 506 pixels per inch ppi, which is actually a little less sharp than the 2960 by 1440 S8 570 pixels per inch, but the difference is barely perceptible. The Super AMOLED panel gives you rich, saturated colors, inky blacks that help save power by only lighting pixels as needed, and excellent viewing angles. The screen gets very bright and remains visible even in direct sunlight. Network performance and connectivity. The Galaxy S8 Active is available on at&t and supports LTE bands 123 septillion 457 sextillion 812 quintillion 202 quadrillion 829 trillion 303 billion 839,404,166. This is standard fare for a top-tier phone. The only noteworthy inclusion is Band 66, which gives carriers more room to combine spectrum and improve downlink. During field testing in Midtown Manhattan, network performance was decent with 9.3 megabits per second down and 15.3 megabits per second up. Lopsided download and upload speeds like this usually indicates network congestion, and overall results are in line with what we've seen on other phones in the same area. Because it has a Snapdragon 835 processor, the S8 Active will be compatible with gigabit networks once they start rolling out. Other connectivity protocols include dual-band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.1 which improves range and lets you stream to 2 devices at the same time, and NFC, letting you use Android Pay. Samsung Pay comes pre-installed and works with nearly all card reader terminals. See how we test cell phones. Call quality is great. Transmissions have clear, natural tones and are easily audible on both ends. Noise cancellation is excellent at blotting out nearly all background noise including wind and traffic. Earpiece volume is loud, and we had no trouble taking a call in a noisy environment. The bottom-facing speaker gets reasonably loud, if a bit tinny. Wi-Fi calling and HD voice are both supported. Processor, battery, and camera as mentioned above. The S8 Active is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor clocked at 2.35 GHz and has 4 GB of RAM. Performance is virtually identical to the standard Galaxy S8, so see our review for a complete rundown. In short, the S8 Active is a fast, powerful phone that can handle anything you throw at it. Generally speaking, it's much more capable than most other rugged phones like the LG X Venture. The S8 Active also has the same 12-megapixel rear camera and 8-megapixel front camera as the Galaxy S8. Its performance is unparalleled, and remains the best camera phone we've tested. See our original review for an in-depth look at performance and sample images. Aside from design, battery is the biggest difference between the S8 Active and the standard S8. The Active houses a 4000 mAh battery, for a nice bump in capacity over the S8's 3000 mAh cell. In our rundown test, in which we stream full-screen video over LTE at maximum screen brightness, that translated to 8 hours, 54 minutes of runtime, which is a good deal longer than the S8, 5 hours, 45 minutes and GeForce Pro 5 hours, 39 minutes. That should get you well over a day's worth of use, and you can take advantage of fast charging with the included adapter. Samsung's proprietary fast wireless charging is also supported, though you'll need to buy the charging puck separately. Software: the Active runs Android 7.0 Nougat with Samsung's Heavy Touch OS UI layer on top. Once again, it's identical to what you'll find on the S8. The one additional feature you get on the Active series is the preloaded Activity Zone app. Launching it gives you quick access to a barometer, compass, flashlight, health tracking, a stopwatch, and weather information. Left to right: Galaxy S8 Active. Galaxy S8. As with all carrier phones, you'll find some bloatware, but it's more minimal than you might expect. There are 9 apps, a few of which can be uninstalled. When you first set up the phone, you're given the choice if you want to install apps like Samsung Pay and Samsung Health. Surprisingly, Google apps you normally can't delete like Android Pay, Google Drive, and Google Photos, can all be removed if you desire. Out of the total internal storage of 64 GB, the S8 Active leaves you with 49.56 GB available. That's a good amount of space for apps and photos, and you can supplement it with a microSD card. Conclusions: for a $100 premium over the standard S8, the Galaxy S8 Active gets you more battery life and increased durability. If you're looking for a phone that can stand up to abuse and doesn't compromise on performance, it's your best option and our editor's choice. If you're not on out, however, we like the Kyocera GeForce Pro, a model available on every major carrier. Or you can buy a regular Galaxy S8 and wrap it up in a protective case.